Hello, everyone, and welcome to another indie game showcase. I go by Lynx, and this is another game from Nikita Kaf. That is a part of the Missing Com bundle on Steam called My Name Is You, and it's the only unusual thing in my life. Truth be told, I know nothing about this game except that choices matter, visual novel, and not sure if not horror as such, but I wonder how impactful it is, let's call it that. So let's head straight into it. That is a nice logo. It may
It may seem that the story of you is chaotic.
Pardon me.
However, in reality, it is not.
Okay.
The more stories you pass through, the more likely you will be to piece it into one whole picture. Use every possible opportunity. The truth is somewhere close.
All right, then. Okay. Let's leave the voice on. We've had this chance with only one of the other games. But yeah, let's keep it like
I suppose
this.
I will start at the very beginning.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
Chapter 1. anxious,
Mm-hmm.
fear of dogs,
Mm-hmm.
or of being late to work. He distanced himself from reality, refused to play any role except
Mm-hmm.
that of an outside observer.
Yep, sounds very much like you.
However, he had had no chance to interfere. The picture of the kid falling down on the ground, breaking skin on his knees, flashed before his eyes. Then of the dogs, losing all interest in him after that.
Oh, yeah.
You immediately felt nauseous.
Oh,
Everything went dark, and
oh,
it seemed to him that he was looking at himself through the eyes of the kid,
interesting.
just like when he was a child. Deja vu!
Déjà vu.
In order to justify his actions to himself, he took the handkerchief with his initials and handed it to the kid. Before the latter could say anything, Yu ran away to avoid further conversation.
Mm-hmm.
In a hurry, he went in the wrong direction, unaware of it until he ran into a locked gate on his way.
Oops.
He casually turned around and went to work. He was almost there when he saw his boss enter the office building. He took it as his personal failure,
Oof.
although his watch showed that he still had several minutes. Yu barely got into the office when he noticed two male silhouettes behind him. He turned around to see his boss and a man he had never seen before, a little further away. Figuring that they would have to be introduced to each other, he turned to the stranger first. Let me introduce myself. You. My name is Frank. And you? To avoid unnecessary explanations, Yu took a name tag from his table and pointed to it. Yes, despite the fact that there was no live communication with clients, the work charter required name tags, probably to remember his name. Wow, that's a very unusual name. Nice to meet you. It is the only unusual detail of my life. Reading. Dear you, my On the second day of work, every sip of coffee came out of his nose as blood.
What? That's not how coffee's meant to work.
Covering his nose with his hand, Yu went to the restroom. Excuse me. I wish I could narrate a little faster and keep you from getting bored. But it is difficult in my condition.
Whoa, okay. That's okay.
Let's continue.
Breaking the fourth
Returning
wall,
to
okay.
his workplace, Yu saw Frank sitting at his table and leafing through his personal diary. Such violation of personal boundaries, it seemed, was about to put Yu out of temper.
Wait, what? Why have we suddenly broken the...
Give it to me. Here, take it. I was curious. In a moment, Yu hid his diary in the drawer of his desk. I am sorry if I offended you.
You didn't offend me, you were being sneaky.
The incident seemed to be over, but Frank's intrusive nature got the better of him. Can I ask you a question?
You'd better not.
Why does everyone in your notes die?
Oh. What?
Frowning, you ignore the question of the self-styled guard. The office phone rang.
Oops, sorry.
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped.
Of course.
He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again. As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped. He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
How often does it do this?
As soon as you came up to the phone, the ringing stopped. He barely returned to his desk when the phone rang again.
I mean, at some point, you ignore it.
The ringing bored into his skull. Yu was buzzing together with the receiver. Yu involuntarily took off, but his head started spinning, and he was seeing dark spots. Holding onto the railing, Yu slid down the stairs and jumped out onto the street. He ran into his boss at the door, who stood there smoking. Go to bed now. You can give me the rest of the papers tomorrow.
Nice
He
stash.
did not have any strength left to work anyway. Although he left some things in the office, Yu was not in a hurry to go back. He sat down on the doorstep to rest. His vision was not particularly keen on the second day, so it took him a while to recognize a familiar face. Yu livened a little. A welcoming grin appeared on his face. Hi, Max. Why are you not at work? I dismissed my students a little early. How are you feeling? As usual, another night shift. If I was your father, I would have fired you long ago.
Why?
What will you have left for me then? Max answered with a question. Do you want me to take your shift?
No, it's cool, thanks.
No, thank you. You quickly said goodbye and left. He heard some painful coughing behind his back, and his lips let out a grin of satisfaction. Coming home, Yu could barely stand on his feet. Notwithstanding his lack of sleep and fatigue, he could not fall asleep.
Oh, that's the worst.
The day flashed in his head on repeat. As for the breakup, he did not see himself as the victim. On the contrary, the entire time during his relationship with Darina, Yu wondered, why did she love him, drained of all strength and weak in spirit from birth? He did not anymore. Dizziness and pain subsided. At some point, he even thought about calling a doctor, just to make sure that he was still alive. But sleep took its toll.
Ah, there we go. Sweet sleep. Time for a nap, basically.
Chapter 3. The alarm went off. Yu faced a new day with weakness in his legs and a throbbing headache. All night long, he had been haunted by a painfully familiar nightmare. However, when he woke dream.
That's not too bad of an idea, to be honest.
He remembered that it was the last working day before the holiday when he came up to the office door. Entering the office, you noticed that Frank was not there. He grinned at that maliciously for some reason.
Fell asleep.
He found a new batch of documents on his table.
Oh, okay.
Pinning his name tag on his jacket, you got to work. The work did not take as much time on the last working day. He easily sorted out insurance files and, like a clerical deity, decided the client's fate, deciding who was to receive payments and who had mutilated himself with the purpose of deception. Having gone through most of the papers, he came across an extremely familiar storyline.
Oh,
Insurance form.
yes.
Life insurance. Form 42.
Yeah.
Fractures, serious illness, and death. Insurance does not cover self-inflicted injuries, self-inflicted infection, or suicide.
I mean, insurance can cover. Okay.
Date of insurance, March 29th. Date of death, April 5th.
Huh.
Insurance sum, 203,500 coins. Salary, 15,000 coins. The client was an insurance. Look at the time. It is the end of the workday. You can go.
Whoop whoop. Vacation time.
I would like to help some more. Look at you. You could use some help yourself.
Achievement unlocked to work.
Maybe this will help. He mumbled to himself, picking up a folder with the statements and walking out.
Hey. Huh. Ah, I see how. Okay, this is gonna go the following ways. First of all, the narration is really well done. I love the pictures. I'm very curious about the other decisions that one can do or that you can do. And I'll definitely replay this. I'll probably play it back, like repeat the beginning areas, like the first 2 chapters, and just change the 3rd chapter. And then see like where that takes us. That being said, I suggest you give it a try. Yeah, this is a part of the Missing Common bundle. If you're interested in playing the other games as well. That being said, thank you. Big shout out to the Indie Game Collective. And thank you and you for watching this video. Make sure to like, check the info box, subscribe if you want to get notifications on the upcoming videos. And yeah, thanks a lot. Until next time. Bye bye.